I built this platform for that little girl. Throughout my life, I've found inspiration from incredible, strong women who are breaking barriers. Black Women to Watch is on a mission to tackle the underrepresentation of Black women. We seek to celebrate those who are power rising through the ranks by amplifying their voices and stories. These women run companies, transform industries, and are the very backbone of our democracy. Amazing in their own right, they are distinguished leaders, and through their journey, we uncover the keys of inspiration. As Vice President Kamala Harris said, Black women are too often overlooked. And I believe that when we uplift Black women, we offer a seat at the table and invite each other to take up space. I built this platform for her, and her, and her. I built this platform for you. Hello, everyone. My name is Lauren, and I'm the founder of Black Women to Watch. And I just want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for being here. Tonight marks the beginning of Black Women to Watch, and we are so excited to share this night with you. As you know, we'll be speaking to Sherrell Dorsey, who's the founder and CEO of The Plug, and I cannot wait for that discussion. But before we do that, we have one more video to show you. As part of our pre-launch, we asked our community to nominate phenomenal Black women for us to cover on this platform. And we received so many nominations, it would take us all night to go through them all. So we put a little montage together that we're going to share with you.
My name is Kelly Rogers, and I believe a Black woman to watch is Kelly Rogers, also known as Happy Medium. I just think that this is a woman, or I think that I am someone, a Black woman to watch, because I just came in with the website featuring my writing, Happy Medium, happymm.life. And I specialize in short stories, self-narratives, more specifically self-narratives in regards to the evolution of woman within her emotions, emotions that society has tried to deem as a crutch when in all actuality it truly is a superpower. So not only am I speaking on behalf of women, but I'm speaking on behalf of Black women. And what better way to receive that message than from an actual Black woman?
Welcome, Sherrell Dorsey. She's a data journalist, social entrepreneur, and speaker. Sherrell, welcome to Black Women to Watch. Awesome. Well, I think we have a little bit of audio issue, so we're going to take care of that in just a moment. But thank you again for being here. What most people don't know is that you and I work together at Uber. And we've known each other for many years. And so it is so exciting to be able to share this opportunity and to have this conversation with you today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited about this platform, and congratulations on the launch today. This is incredible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we're going to do what we always do here at Black Women to Watch, and we are going to start with your 6-word memoir. Now, your 6-word memoir is 6 words that you use to describe your life, and it gives us a little bit of a glimpse into who you really are. It can be funny, introspective, reflective, really anything that speaks to you. So without further ado, what's your 6-word memoir?
So my 6-word memoir is design a life of continuous learning and adventure.
Oh, yeah. What does that mean for you?
For me, it means constantly discovering myself, my purpose, not being afraid of the uncomfortable and stepping outside of the comfort zones and just be willing to discover all over the world, quite frankly.
I love that so much because I think a lot of times people feel like when you hit your 30s that stops happening. And so the affirmation that continues to happen every single day for you is definitely resonating with me. So let's dive in. I've known you for many years, but I also feel like there's a lot that I don't know. So I'm excited for this conversation. And I think it's a great place to start with understanding who you were when you were growing up. And so when you think back to young Sherrell growing up, was there someone or many people, if for that matter, that you often looked up to, perhaps a woman that you said, I want to be like her?
Oh, I love this question because I am definitely an amalgamation of the village that raised me. I was raised in Seattle, Washington, Seward Park area, the inner city where lots of Black and brown folks, lived. And, quite frankly, I looked to so many folks within my village. My mom was a single parent. And so she relied a lot on her closest friends and extended family for additional supports in shaping me. She knew that she can give me what she had, but there was so much richness in the community that she intentionally built for me and my experiences. So the folks that I really looked up to early on were Shar Younger, who ran the dance studio that I learned tap and ballet from, and who paid for me to go to master classes when some of the greats would be in town. Also, Monica McAfee, who ran the nail and hair salon. She was the first real entrepreneur that I just knew I wanted to be like. She was gracious and poised. She actually had a computer science degree and decided to be an entrepreneur. And so I got to watch firsthand her build her startup from scratch in the community, hire young girls like myself to work in the salon and learn customer service and learn grace in building a company. And also Trish Maline's DeZico, who converted a storefront in Seattle's inner city into a training site to teach kids of color technology and how to code and network administration. And she had retired from Microsoft and helped us get internships at tech companies in high school. And so these are really the individuals that I would say are definitely part of my journey and folks that I still stay connected with today, even 30 plus years later, who continue to pour into me as mentors, and definitely several of my male mentors who just kind of, really stepped up as male role models in my life as well, whether it was, teaching me how to drive or navigating, corporate life, making smart decisions as I went off to college in New York City. And so just a ton of folks within my circle that I'm grateful today to still be connected to.
That's amazing. And shout out to that village who poured into you in so many different ways. We know that today you are a data journalist. And so walk us through how you were inspired to go down this route. What was it? What was that defining moment that really sparked for you to chase this passion for journalism?
It was actually something that sparked at Uber, oddly enough. During our time there, it was a very heavily data-driven business from week to week, measuring progress and successes. And I was fortunate to be on the impact team and also helping to work around storytelling around legislation and helping to identify key markers of success that we could share, particularly with city leaders around impact. So part of my work there included creating heat maps, telling stories about, what we were doing. And I really found the emergence for myself of the data as well as the storytelling. And it really sparked my curiosity around how can I do more of this? And I started looking at this idea of data journalism and decided to go to grad school and do a data and journalism program at Columbia. And at the same time, realized within the journalism industry, particularly within business and tech news, as we were trying to keep up and stay abreast of what was happening across Silicon Valley, I noticed that these stories of folks like Trish DeZico, who started the program that I ended up training in, were missing from the conversation of who got to be called genius. The folks in the community that I grew up in were never considered genius, but these were the people that really were the fabric and the backbone behind what commerce looked like, what community and social welfare looks like within my community. But I didn't see them in some of the top mainstream business publications that were shaping the identity of what society and the future of work were going to look like. And so I really credit the discovery, the opportunity, the curiosity, and some of the skills that I gained working for startups, being able to merge that with the deeper question around who do we call genius? What could I do to build the Black Wall Street Journal or the Black Bloomberg, and pay attention to the rise and the trends shaping first-time founders, Black and brown people who are also becoming first-time investors? How do we put an art and a science and storytelling that is not sensational? It is truly rooted in research and data, and bring something to the industry that has long been ignored. So that for me was really this kind of guiding light that was really rooted in how I was raised and who I was raised by.
Yeah, what's so interesting about what you said is, you have this passion that sort of birthed through your experience in startups, at Uber, and you go down this path of exploring journalism, go back and get an extra degree in that, and then you identify a gap, right, of underrepresentation in the conversation in the tech industry. And, I love what you said about, who is really defining what it means to be a genius, right? Like that's just so profound. And I think one of the things that's been really interesting and has a really nice segue to talk a little bit about The Plug, which your platform keeps your thumbprint on the pulse of Black innovation and is frequently talking about all the things that are sort of happening across the tech world, and the Black innovators who are behind that work. And so I'd love for you to kind of just share a little bit about the genesis behind The Plug, and sort of what your thought was before bringing it to fruition.
Absolutely. The Plug really started off as a labor of love. I'm reading and subscribing to all of the tech news that I could get my hands on, and decided, what if I could read about Black tech news every day? And so I would literally get up before work about 6 a.m. and start curating news content that I would find. And then also my experiences going back and forth to tech conferences, living in a place like Charlotte and frequenting other places outside of Silicon Valley, where you saw these emerging tech hubs from Kansas City to St. Louis to Atlanta, these places where there was tremendous activity, and conferences that were not just your traditional tech conference. You had the Afrotechs of the world, you had Platform. And so I would go to these for covering stories, and I was pitching stories to like Black Enterprise and The Root, and I was doing trend pieces for Fast Company, and eventually decided, I want to talk about this continuously, not as one-off stories. And so I took my little $10, bought a domain name, got a MailChimp account, and just said, right now, this isn't about building something. This is really just about how do we start to build community and conversation that is both smart, informative, and really helps to connect people around the idea of innovation and the language of innovation. And I will say, I paid for my own trip to go to South by Southwest. And I was able to pitch a couple of publications, Black publications, because I hadn't seen any Black publications on the ground at South by Southwest, which is one of the largest, the world's largest tech conference, where people launch companies, where new, huge ideas, big speakers, innovators are. And I felt like I want to ensure that we know that we can take up space here. And so I started just writing about these experiences, really even just having in mind my nieces and my nephews and folks who I wanted them to be able to see themselves in these spaces one day. And so once I started just getting consistent and folks started gravitating towards the newsletters, we started getting outreach from Fortune 500 companies who were saying, we see what you're creating. We would love to sponsor the newsletter. And getting my first check, it was confirmation that I was onto something. The emails that I was getting from people saying it feels so good to feel visible. And today we really are that go-to business intelligence source that's examining the market of rising Black tech startups, fund managers, talent, what have you. And so we have definitely since evolved in creating analytics and data-driven narratives and insights to really help larger industry understand how powerful and impactful this particular community is.
That's amazing. And I could sit here and talk to you all day long. One more question before we have to depart for today. When you think about, I mean, you spoke about your nieces and your nephews and the work that you're doing and how you want them to see themselves in this industry. When you think about the work that you're leaving behind and how you're looking to inspire the next generation of leaders, what is the message that you have broadly for young men and young women across the world, across the nation that are watching what you do? What's their message for them?
That you are genius and don't ever let anyone else tell you differently. I don't know if you can see on my wall here, I have a photo here of Ida B. Wells. And I think about what she documented and how she documented Black genius, even amid some of the worst crimes committed against Black folks in this country. And my goal is to continue that work and to show not just our pain and our plight and our challenges, but also to show our innovation, our genius. And I want young folks to know that you exist, even when the media, even when the coverage doesn't show you there, you exist. So continue to step into your genius.
You exist and you are a genius. That's powerful. Thank you so much, Sherrell, for spending time with us, for sharing your story, and for giving us a little bit of insight and inspiration to carry us throughout the week. I want to make sure that people can stay in contact with you. So just where should we find you on social media, your website? Where can we stay connected?
Yes, definitely subscribe to our free weekly briefing. It comes up every single Monday at tpinsights.com. That's the plug insights, or tpinsights.com. And I am on social media across the board, just Sherrell_Dorsey. Would love to have you all part of our community. And thank you again, Lauren. This is incredible.
Thank you. And I want to say thank you to Team Backbone. Thank you to my team, Jasmine and Lexi. Thank you to DJ Taylor. Thank you to everyone watching. I could not have imagined a better experience to launch and welcome Black women to watch into the atmosphere. So thank you all so much. And I hope you stay tuned. Follow us on Black Women to Watch on Instagram. See you soon.